Yeah, that's about how I feel when I get plant mail. Hello and welcome to Peggy's Plants, coming to you from Central Florida. Excuse my ridiculousness. Hi, I'm Peggy of Peggy's Plants. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you and yours are well. Today I'd like to share with you a plant mail unboxing from Ecuagenera US. I'm very excited about this package. I did order the plants, but I had no idea that I would be getting a package this big. So hopefully this is indicative of the size of the plant. So let's get in here and see what we have. Due to some audio issues, I ended up having to voice over some of this video. Ecuagenera has two websites. One website is Ecuagenera US, and the other site is just ecuagenera.com, and they are based out of Ecuador. I have in the past ordered from both of their websites. Their prices are very good on typically hard to find plants. In the past, their plants, we used to kind of consider them rehab plants because they kind of had issues. But I'm seeing lately from some of the videos I've watched that they've really stepped up their game, and I'm seeing some really good plants coming out. So I'm excited about that. Now, what I was just looking at is the invoice. I do like to get an invoice with my plants to see what I paid, and so that I can remember exactly what I ordered. As you can see here, it's packaged very nicely. The plants are wrapped and then taped to the box, which is nice because you don't have to worry about your plants getting crushed, leaves bent, stems broken, things like that during transit. Another thing that I like that I'm seeing is that they're wrapped in paper. A lot of times you'll receive plants that are wrapped in cellophane, which is fine sometimes, but it has a tendency to build up condensation in the cellophane plastic, and that condensation can also rot your leaves. So with paper, you don't have that problem. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing, although I'm having a heck of a time getting these plants out of this box, as you can see. So what's another tip I can give you as I struggle with this package? Where you order from and the time of year is very important. Such as like now, I typically don't like to order plants in the winter time. I try to keep it to the warmer months, but where I order from in the winter is very important. So these plants are from Ecuagenera US, which is located in Apopka, Florida, which is very close by. Once they notified me that these plants were in the mail, I received them the very next day. So that takes a lot of stress off of the plants because I ordered close by and I don't have to worry as much about the weather. So let me show you what I have here. This plant is why I placed this order. This is the one I'm most excited about. And let me get it out here without ripping off any leaves, which yes, I have done that. In my first unboxing video, I ripped one of two leaves off of the plant. So yeah, it was a womp 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 kind of situation. Here we go. This, as most of you can see and will know, is an Alocasia Fredde variegated. I've been wanting one of these, but not wanting to pay the high price that I've been finding them at. And as you can see here, this one I was able to purchase for $45. I must say I'm very pleased with this plant. I'm pleased with the level of variegation. Not too much white, not too much green, but a nice balance. And if you look closely right there, there's another leaf coming up. So I'm happy about that as well. So far it looks pretty healthy from what I can see. Let me check into this plant a little bit further. I didn't want you guys to have to suffer through me trying to remove this tape, so I kind of moved things along. But as you can see, under the tape to hold everything in place. There's not a lot of soil out of place. There's a damp paper towel on here. It is still moist, but again, this was just in the mail for a day. So I didn't really have to worry about it drying out, but they do that so that the plant doesn't dry, and as you can see, the soil is still moist on top. It looks like it is potted in pretty much perlite, coarse chunks of perlite, and maybe like an aeroid mix. That's what it's looking like. I'm going to see if I can tip it out and take a look at the roots, because you don't know what you have until you've seen the roots. And yeah, there are roots. So this isn't just a rooted cutting that's in here. It does seem to have some nice roots. It's not root bound, and it seems to be fine. No odor. I don't see any signs of pest or anything like that. So I'm just going to pop it back in this pot and leave it in here to grow. So I decided what I was going to do is like I said, I put it in, I left it in the soil it was in, I popped it into a decorative pot, and I'm going to put it back here, leave it back here for now in my back hallway that leads to my patio, because it's nice and bright. And in just 24 hours, look at that leaf that is trying to emerge, a new stem. I love it. I love it. So in one day, this plant seems to be looking good and no problems. So I'm very pleased with this plant. Hopefully it will thrive. Next up, let's see here. All of these plants that I ordered, I have had a variation of before. I have had an Alocasia Fredde before. It kept ending up with spider mites. Eventually, I ended up just kind of throwing it out. So I'm trying again with that variegated Fredde that I just showed you. But every plant in this order I have had a variation with. I love the plant, but for some reason can't keep it alive. I'm also replacing a lot of plants. I've been through a lot of, I'll just call it turmoil in my last couple of years, which is why I haven't been around as much with my plant videos and things. And in that time frame, I lost a lot of plants. So now I'm replacing some of those. I'm back up and trying to get things going again. So this plant is an Antherium magnificum silver. I have had a magnificum before, but I lost it. I'm not great with Antherium. I only have like a couple of them, but I love them. I think this plant, look at this, the veining in there, absolutely beautiful. I love that this plant is mature. It has, several leaves. I wanted a nice established plant, and which is why I purchased this one. And I got this one for $50. And again, I'm excited about it. But before I get too excited, I want to see exactly what I'm dealing with. I want to make sure that it is well rooted, and that the soil or whatever medium it's planted in is nice and fresh and healthy, and that there are no pests. And the only way to guarantee that is by going in and looking at the soil, looking at the roots and things like that. Again, I kind of sped things up because for some reason packaging and tape and all of that stuff takes me way longer than it should to get off of the pot. But everything here looks really good. This plant traveled very well. And as you can see, there are roots on the top of the soil. So I'm kind of thinking this one may be root bound. Let's see if I'm going to have to repot this one or not. Now, normally a couple of squeezes and the plant releases. And that is not the case with this one. It is hanging on to this pot. So I think I'm going to have to get into this one a little later. I don't want to, tear it up or anything. So for now, we'll just consider this pretty healthy. I'll get back and revisit it later. But what a beautiful plant. I'm very pleased with this one as well. I ended up leaving it in the pot. Everything looked to be fine, well-established roots, not quite root bound yet. So I decided to take this one upstairs and put it in my plant room where it could be under a grow light. It's on the bottom shelf, so it's not real close to the light, but I think it would benefit from that. And I also decided to put a watering stake in it so that it's on an automatic drip. So once a week it will get watered. I'll keep an eye on things to make sure that that's sufficient and make adjustments accordingly. I'll probably end up putting that in hydrogen pellets and doing semi-hydro with it eventually. I tend to have more luck with my Antherium that way, but for now, I'm going to leave it up there in the plant room and see how it goes. So now we're down to the third and final plant. I have to say I am very pleased with this shipment from Ecuagenera US. The way that the plants have been packaged, the condition that they're in, and most of all, they are well rooted, which is greatly appreciated. I mean, in the past, from various growers and sellers, I have received plants that were so-called plants but turned out to be rooted cuttings, which is very frustrating, especially if you pay good money for those plants. But so far with this one, I feel like I've gotten exactly what I've paid for, and the condition of the plants I have no problem with at all. So I wouldn't hesitate to order from them again. Now, I knew when I ordered this plant that it was a little wonky. So let's see here. It's long. This, I don't even know how I can show you the entire plant. Here you go. At least you can see the leaves. And most of you would probably identify this as a varicosum. It does look like one. It is a philodendron pseudo varicosum. So it very much looks like a varicosum, but it's not, which could be a good thing for me since I haven't had a good track record when it comes to varicosum. Hopefully with this being a pseudo varicosum, I'll have better results. Fingers crossed. So the big deal with this one is, if you could, big beautiful leaves. Look at the veining. Love this plant. But as wonky as this one is, I'm going to have to figure something out. I'm definitely going to have to put it on a moss pole or something. It looks really, really healthy. I don't see any evidence of pest or anything like that. Some dry aerial roots on here. So let's get into the pot and see just how healthy the root structure is. I still haven't been able to get this plant out of the nursery pot. I finally got the tape off, but as you can see, it looks like it's planted in sphagnum moss and it looks to have a nice root system. Oh, and I just noticed something else. Let's see if I peel, oh, look at that. Peel this off. There is some new growth. So that's promising as well. Just from squeezing the pot, I noticed that the sphagnum moss was really, really crunchy and the leaves on the plant are kind of limp. So I decided to just set it in here and do some bottom watering, let this plant get hydrated before I mess around with it too much. Because I have a feeling I'm going to end up having to repot this plant as well as putting it on a moss pole, attaching it to a moss pole. So I want it to be as healthy as possible when I do that. So after I hydrated the plant, I was able to pull it out easily from the pot, and this is what the root system looks like. And here is a moss pole that I have prepared for it. It has sphagnum moss as well as an aroid mix in there. So I potted it up, I attached it to the moss pole, and for now I just have it sitting over here in my dining area. As you can see, the leaves are sitting up on their own, nice and firm and healthy looking. What a beautiful plant. I am so, so, so very excited about this pseudo varicosum. Hopefully it's easier than a regular varicosum. So change of plans. I decided to put this one upstairs as well in my in my plant room. And I put the watering tip in the moss pole, and that way I will be able to keep the moss pole wet. I'm probably still going to have to add some supplemental water, but I feel like it'll be better suited up there. It'll get lots of nice light from overhead as well as low, which it wasn't going to get where I had it initially. And I want this plant to really look good when it attaches, hopefully, and all of that. Now, there were some little dried up roots and stuff. Some of them I did kind of direct back into the moss pole, and I'm hoping that will help. But wish me luck with my pseudo varicosum. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching my video. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Stay well. Bye-bye.